This week we learned the law that prohibits the setting up of a matzeva, a stone pillar. It's a very curious law for a couple reasons. First of all, we know that Yaakov, the patriarch, set up a matzeva earlier in the Torah. It's recognized and seemingly applauded. So if he could set one up, why can't we? And second, we know we are allowed to set up a mizbeach, an altar from which to worship God, bringing sacrifices and the like. The only difference between a matzeva and a mizbeach is the following. A matzeva consists of one stone. A mizbeach consists of multiple stones that we join together to form an altar. So let me get this straight. God, I really want to worship you, so I found this stone. I'm going to set it up as a pillar. Is that okay? Absolutely not. Totally prohibited. Don't do it. Okay, suppose I gather several stones together and I join them into an altar. Is that okay? Absolutely. That's wonderful as long as it's done in the temple. What is the difference between one stone and many stones? One commentator explains the following. Back in the day, since creation, God was worshipped based on his mastery over nature and what he had done for us throughout history. So it was perfectly appropriate to make a matzeva like Yaakov did, using one stone. One stone comes from creation. God created one stone. But once the Torah was given, it was as if God was telling us, I no longer want you to worship me based on what I've done for you. From now on, I want you to worship me based on what you've done for me. Show me that you've observed the commandments. So now one stone, an object from creation, is no longer appropriate. And so symbolically, we only serve from an altar, a mizbeach that's made up of many stones, because many stones requires human intervention. And that answers another question. Last week, I had the privilege to teach a group of incredible Jewish fathers in Israel. And on Shabbat, for the third meal, we were invited to our hosts who owned an incredible home, the rooftop of which overlooks Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount. So we were able to gaze at the Temple Mount. Gaze at the Temple Mount. We couldn't have walked down there and walked onto it because it's still holy. But contrast that with the following. Had we or anyone gone to Har Sinai, to Mount Sinai, no problem. You could walk on it, you could have a picnic, you could ride a Jeep over it. I don't get it. Why is the site of the Temple Mount, where there's no temple anymore, still holy, but Har Sinai, where God gave us the Torah, is not? And the answer is, because when the Torah was given, we sat back. We were spectators. We watched as God did his thing. But when it came to the temples, we built them. And because we acted, that ground is still hallowed. It still has holiness. The takeaway is obvious. Our job in this world is not to sit on our couches, wait for holiness to happen, and then applaud it when it does. Our job is to get up off of our couches and make holiness happen. Take the physical and raise it to the level of the spiritual.